What's up, you guys, and welcome to today's webinar training, where I'm going to teach you and show you exactly how your church can easily reach 100,000 people in your community and get dozens of new visitors in weeks. And I'm so excited to teach you this new concept to grow your church in 2019. Now, in this training, I'll be showing you several testimonials, several quotes, and several screenshots to prove to you that this works. And this really works because I've even done this for my own church, but I'll get into those results in a second. But I want to get right into it, okay? So the way that you can reach out to 100,000 people with your church is with social media, but not the way that you think. You might be thinking that you post things on Facebook and people see it and everything, but that is not exactly what I'm talking about today. But before you think that this won't work or think that it may be too obvious, I have to tell you that these strategies that I will explain to you are something that you have never heard of before. Now, social media is literally the biggest platform to introduce any organization to the public, which includes churches. I promise you, after this presentation, you will see exactly why social media is so important to grow your church, and I will teach you strategies that can grow your reach and increase your impact with your community. But I don't want to just be talking without any proof, so here's a screenshot showing me doing these strategies for my own church, Glen Haven United Methodist Church. And it shows that I reached out to about 13,634 people in total. And these results occurred in only 3 days. I got my church, Glen Haven, seen by more than 13,000 people on Facebook in 3 days, which got us several likes, different comments, shares, traffic, and so many people interested in talking about our church on Facebook. We're able to touch the lives of several people in our community, even to people who pass by our church every Sunday and never come in. So imagine if we kept going with this. Then 100,000 people will basically be seeing our church promotions within weeks. I'm telling you, social media is the best way to reach out to people and get them connected, not only to your church, but to God as well. And it is so easy to do it. Just imagine your impact that your church can have on your community. Imagine walking around and saying to 13,000 people in your community, face to face, saying, "Hey sir or ma'am, this is my church, and we want you to come out to our church because we love you and we want to bring you closer to God. Our service starts at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Come and check us out." Imagine how many visitors you would get, the number of new members you can get, the baptisms, the events at your church that you can host, the impact of your services, the volunteers that you can get, not to mention the financial aspect to the church donations. So on social media, without a doubt, is effective for churches. Here's a screenshot of a church that reached out to about 11,237 people, or in other words, impressions, and got about 236 clicks to their church website. This church reached out to about 56,757 people with about 686 clicks to their church website. This church reached out to about 93,182 people with about 1,495 clicks to their church website. And now for the best of them all, this church reached out to about 107,268 people with about 1,164 clicks to their church website. Now this goes on and on and on, but I don't want to take too much time to showing you all these testimonials because I want to hurry up and teach you these strategies. But why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this to prove that these strategies work for churches and that it can work for you too. And the strategies that I'm talking about is with Facebook ads. Now, my goal in this presentation is to prove to you that social media is absolutely necessary to reach people beyond the four walls of your church, and the strategies that I will share with you will grow your church in 2019. But I just want to let you know that if you stay until the end of this training, I will give you a free copy of my book, The Church Millennial Attraction Guide, which explains how a church got 241 new visitors in a week and how you can do it too, where I teach you everything about how they did it at such a fast rate. And the strategies that are in this book are the same strategies that doubled another church's attendance. The same stuff in this book is the same stuff that maxed out a sanctuary in a church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I promise you that you will love this book. And I will mail you a completely free copy if you stay until the end of this presentation, because I have so much I want to share with you. Alright, now you might be thinking, this is really cool, but who are you? Alright, because at this moment you might be thinking, alright, who is this guy talking to me about social media and church growth and all this stuff? Well, my name is Stephen Polk, and I'm 19 years old. I grew up in Glen Haven United Methodist Church, and I've loved my church ever since. A little about me is that I'm a natural born entrepreneur ever since third grade, selling things from pencils to candy to duct tape wallets to scarves to lawn care services and so much more. I always knew that God had something big for my life to accomplish, but I didn't know what. Then recently I actually found what God wanted me to do with my life, and I'll share my mission with you in a second. But when I turned 16 years old, my entrepreneurial quest led me to something called social media marketing in 2016. I learned how to market businesses on social media and get them several new customers to make them more money. After 6 months of intense work, learning and investing hundreds of dollars of my own money with social media marketing, I then became a lead generation and Facebook ads expert for businesses. I learned how to create ads for businesses and get them more customers. Little did I know, God was developing something in me that He would use for my mission years later. Then God showed me what I'm going to be doing with my life in January of 2019. So that was basically 3 years later. Then my mom invited me to a church conference talking about how churches can grow their impact and connect with their communities and get more visitors at the same time. My ear kind of stood up because that sounded a little familiar, but I didn't really say anything. At this conference, I told my pastor about everything that I learned about Facebook marketing and how I can maybe test it out for Glen Haven. He was extremely impressed and about all that I learned and said that we should test it out, which is how eventually I got about 13,000 people within 3 days to see our church promotions, but that's another story. But back to the conference. The time came at the conference when the speaker asked if anybody had any comments that they wanted to say to the audience. And I did not raise my hand because I was just a 19-year-old kid who didn't know, I'm just here as a visitor, so I didn't want to take the mic and start talking about everything that I learned. So I just sat down, kept quiet. Then my pastor's wife looked at me and said, "Hey Stephen, why don't you talk about that Facebook stuff that you explained to us?" At that moment, I was sure that was God telling me that I should share just a teeny tiny bit of information that I knew. So I stood up, took the mic and said, "Hello everyone, my name is Stephen, and I learned how to promote things on Facebook, and I think it can work for churches too." That's pretty much all that I said, because once again, I was a visitor to the conference. Then we had a lunch break, and when I tell you, there were so many pastors coming up to me asking about Facebook, how to do it, what I was talking about, handing me their business cards and so much more. The main part that sparked my mission was when an older female pastor came up to me and said, "Oh, that was excellent what you were talking about with Facebook. You should do consulting for churches." Then she walked away. At that moment, it hit me like a ton of bricks. God wants me to use what I've learned over the past 3 years and teach churches how to reach countless amount of people by using the latest and greatest outreach methods ever. God showed me that this is my mission right now in life. So, this is my mission statement that I'm standing by. My mission is to revolutionize every church in the United States to grow their reach and impact with their communities by using the newest and greatest methods in 2019. So this is why I'm creating this free webinar to teach you what I know about everything that you can use to grow your church using the newest and greatest methods of 2019. But you still might be thinking to yourself, does this work for churches? Well, a pastor in Tulsa, Oklahoma was skeptical of social media reach for his church at first. Then he used the same strategies that I'm talking about right now, and this is what he had to say about it. He said, "At Easter, we used Facebook ads when we knew that we really found something here. We used Facebook ads and we maxed out our entire sanctuary. Couldn't let any more people in. Can you guys imagine?" And his church was small at first, and no one knew about his church. Then within months, everyone was talking about his church on Facebook. So if it worked for them, I know that it can work for you. So in this webinar, I'm going to be talking about 3 things. we're going to be going over how social media is better than traditional outreach for churches. Then we will talk about how to raise thousands of dollars through fundraisers for your church by using social media. And last, I will show you the exact process that I used on how my church reached out to about tens of thousands of people within weeks. So, I don't want to waste any time, so let's jump right into the first point: how social media is better than traditional outreach and why it is so important for churches. So the first thing that we need to do to start growing your church on social media is to show people why they need to connect with you. The problem is that the world is changing, and sadly the traditional ways of outreach to bring people in just aren't working anymore. That's why churches waste a lot of money a month to billboards and flyers and email and junk mail, and then pray on Sunday morning that people come in. So as churches, we need to reevaluate how we do things and reflect on things happening now. And the things that are happening now is social media. Traditional ways of outreach for churches like flyers, brochures, and door-to-door did work in the 1990s, but it's 2019 now, basically 30 years later, and because many churches aren't changing to fit their environment, they struggle. And the reason that I'm making this presentation is to inform churches of the best way to get more people into your church doors by reevaluating what we do, because old ways used to work in the old days, but the old ways won't work in the new days. But now I'm going to tell you exactly what the strategy is, which is Facebook advertising. Now, before you think that this isn't real or doesn't work, Facebook has so many people on their platform at any given time. It doesn't take too much of Facebook's time to put your church ad in front of people. Now, this is how social media is better than traditional outreach, okay? Now, I've seen some churches spend so much money on radio ads to promote their church. But people are only listening to radio ads so that they can get back to their song, or even if they do hear your ad, you don't know if they're distracted by driving, or you don't know who's listening, you don't even know if they're on their channel, and all this other stuff. So radio ads just aren't effective for churches. Facebook ads can be sent to anyone with a Facebook page, which is kind of everyone, and you can see exactly who sees your ad. Some churches spend thousands of dollars a month on one billboard where they hope that people are seeing their church. But when people pass by, they can't interact with your church at that time, and by the time that they drive home, they might have forgotten the name of your church. Facebook ads can let anyone interact with your church and create a relationship with you at that time instead of just posting it on a billboard. Some churches spend so much time and money to make flyers, then print them out and walk around posting them on telephone poles, and instead, you can create a Facebook ad that takes 10 times less time than making a flyer and send it directly to people with the click of a button. So imagine if you sent tens of thousands of flyers at a fraction of the cost. Now, if your church does direct mail, you have to sit down, print out all these documents, file addresses, and hope and pray that people see them. But instead, you can make a Facebook ad and target the area code and hit a couple buttons and make sure that everybody in that area code around your church can start to see your church ads. And some churches spend thousands of dollars on newspaper ads when not many people read the newspaper in 2019, just being honest. And they especially don't read the ad sections of it. So instead of investing money in that, you can invest money in Facebook ads and reach hundreds of thousands of people and make sure that they see it, instead of just hoping that someone reads the newspaper. In fact, there is a church YouTube channel called Pro Church Daily, and this is what they had to say about Facebook ads versus newspaper ads. So this is what one of the members said. They said, "Let me give a quick success story. For the longest time, we did newspaper ads. It's just something that we did. And we like set it and forget it. Pay the bill every month, and it was in the church directory, but we never saw any traffic from that. But it's just what you do. The local churches put in newspaper ads in the local directory. What do you do when the newspaper closes? It's gone. So a few months ago, the newspaper closed, and we weren't spending this ad money anymore. So we had a church picnic a few weeks ago, and I said to our people, hey, give me half of the ad spend that we were spending on newspaper ads. Let me run a Facebook ad. They gave me half of it, and we got about 15 new visitors to come to the church picnic. So the opportunity that us small churches have with Facebook ads is unmatched and unprecedented. I don't think we have had an opportunity like this before, and I am pumped up to talk about Facebook ads. It is the single greatest outreach platform in human history. So, now we can see how awesome Facebook ads are, and these are several examples of churches that have grown to crazy numbers because of it. Now, let's get into examples of how many people that you can reach in one day with Facebook ads. Now, let's get to numbers, for example, okay? So if a church spends about $3,000 on radio ads, which is extremely expensive, they can get maybe about 1,000 listeners a day. Some would say that's a lot of people, 1,000 people. But how about take half of the money and get Facebook ads in front of 20,000 people a day? Not joking, 20,000 people a day. These are real results. How many people do you think you can bring into your church from just 20,000 people seeing your church ads every single day? As another example, a church continues to pay $5,000 a month on one billboard for their church. And we can say that maybe about 8,000 people will see it every single day. And that's a lot of people, 8,000 people. But imagine if we took half of that money and get your church ads in front of 50,000 people a day. These are real numbers. How many people do you think you can bring into your church when 50,000 people see your church ads every day? Let's just say the worst case scenario. Imagine if your church would just get 30 new people to come into your church looking for a new church home. Imagine how you would feel when new people come to every service or event that your church has. This can be a reality. Facebook is now the most efficient and effective way to spread the love of Jesus and get more people connected to your church, because it is the single greatest outreach platform for churches in the world right now. Now let's keep going to the next point of this webinar, which is how to raise thousands of dollars for your church through fundraisers. Now we can start off by talking about fundraising. For example, if you have a bake sale, and if you run a Facebook ad for the bake sale, if 100 people come by and spend $5 there, that's at least $500 for your church. If you hold a car wash on a Saturday afternoon, and after advertising it with Facebook ads, if 100 cars come by and see the advertising, and they pay at least $10 each, that's about $1,000 for your church. Or if you have a talent show, or a fish fry, or a barbecue, or anything that you might promote, if 250 people come by and pay about $5 each, your church just raised about $1,250 from one event. And there are literally so many ways that Facebook ads can benefit your church. But no matter what your church does to promote, all your church has to do is to create a Facebook ad and get it in front of people who are already scrolling on Facebook so that they can connect with you. Or even if I run an ad for my church, and when they click on the ad, it can go directly to the donation page for my church's website. So it doesn't even have to be a fundraiser. You can just send them directly to the donation page and let them give a generous donation to the church. This can be the most beneficial aspect of promoting for your church on Facebook ads. Now let's go to the final point of this webinar, which is exactly how my church reached out to 13,000 people in only 3 days. Now, I'll give you something later in this presentation that will explain everything in extreme detail, but I don't want to be talking for hours because I don't want this webinar to be too long. But here's an overview of what I did. Okay, so what I did is that I went to something called the Facebook Business Manager. I then chose which ad I wanted to use for my church. There are options such as traffic ads, which bring people, after they click on the church ads, straight to my church website. Engagement, which gets people liking, commenting, sharing, and creating relationships with the church online. Reach ads, which are basically broadcast to thousands of people at once. And there are so many others, but when I choose which ad that I want to use, then I apply targeting. In here, I can target specific people that I want to see my church ads. So here I'll target people who live within a 10-mile radius of my church. The reason that I do this is because I don't want to be showing ads to people on Facebook who are in Alaska, because my church is in Georgia. That means only people who live within a 10-mile radius of my church will open up their Facebook page and see the church ads. So then I scroll down, set my budget that I want to spend, and as a reference number, every dollar that I spend to Facebook ads, about 1,000 people will be able to see it. Which means I reached out to 13,000 people for my church for only $13. Yeah, $13. If you got tens of thousands of people to see your church ads, how much would you invest to your church? This is an amazing opportunity for churches, and this is the reason that I want to spread the word about this, because it is so powerful. Then the last step that I did is create the ad, which can look something like this. This Facebook ad says, next Sunday is our family and friends day. There will be food, fun, and worship, so you don't want to miss it. Or they can be an ad that looks like this. Check out this Saturday for our annual church barbecue. There will be games, family, and fun. Come on down. Or there can be an ad that looks like this. Vacation Bible School is coming up soon, so make sure that you sign up down below so you don't miss it. Now these are just examples, but you can create anything that you want to promote. Then just hit submit. Facebook automatically shows people these ads to thousands of people every single day, automatically, and that's it. Now there is so much more information that I want to slow down and teach you literally everything that I learned about, because this is my mission, to revolutionize every church across the United States and teach them the best ways to grow their church online in 2019. But sadly, I don't want this webinar to run for a very long time. But right now, you have two different options. You can take what you have learned and attempt to try it for yourself, or if you want to get the results that you want to see, then I have something for you. You have the option to get the free copy for my book, the Church Millennial Attraction Guide, like I promised at the beginning, how Facebook got a church 241 new visitors, and how you can too. But I also want to give you a lot more things for free since you did watch this whole presentation. So if you don't mind, would you like me to explain what else I would like to give to you real quick? Alright, so I want to give you another one of my books, the Step-by-Step Church Facebook Guide, which walks you through the process, screenshot by screenshot, to get the exact same results that I got from my church. I also want to give you both books and their ebooks that you can download right now and start learning and start reading them right now. Now, because I'm here to revolutionize churches in 2019, I want to give you every ebook that I've ever written for free, which means I will give you the 78 Tips, Tricks, and Strategies ebook to grow your church, which is several tips that your church can use to implement to start growing right now. I'll give you the Church Growth Cheat Sheet, which gives information about how other churches are growing at such a fast rate, and it breaks it down so that you can do it too. I'll give you the Church Fundraising Growth Hacks, which goes in depth about how to make thousands of dollars through your church fundraisers with Facebook ads. And I will also give you the exact church Facebook ads that you can basically copy and run for your exact same church. And I want to give you all of this information for free. The Church Millennial Attraction Guide is valued at about $30. The step-by-step book is about $30. Both their ebooks are each $30. The 78 Tips is valued at about $10. The Church Growth Cheat Sheet is valued at about $20. The Fundraising Hacks is valued at about $30. And the exact Facebook ads is valued at about $40. So in total, I want to give you all of this completely for free. Alright, so throughout this entire presentation, I showed you how important social media is, but right now, you might be feeling like this. Completely overwhelmed, just all this information all at once. And I don't want to overwhelm you, and I want to sit down and basically explain everything to you. And I want to take the time to teach you everything that I know. But you've already been watching this webinar for a while, and I want to respect your time. That's why I want to give you the best thing that I can offer to churches, which is my Facebook Ads for Churches course. At this time, I want to offer you my help in the form of this course and all of the value that I want to give to you for free. In this course, I break down how Facebook ads work, and I elaborate how you can do it too. I record my computer screen, and you will see every button that I push, every page that I click on, and you can follow my process step by step. you can see me create ads for my church, Glen Haven, and you can see me release the ad. Then I'll come back later, check on the ads the next day, and I'll show you how many thousands of people that have seen my church ads. So if you want to walk through the process of how things are done for my church, then you want to get this course. As a bonus, you will have a 24/7 access to my cell phone and call me anytime that you have any questions or if you need help from me at any time. As another bonus, I want to give you an exclusive training video that explains the process in a more simple way to understand everything, which would probably be the best video to start off with. Because even though I'm talking with all these terms, I will break it down so that you'll be able to understand every part about this. So, everything that I want to give to you is my book, The Church Millennial Attraction Guide, for $30. That's valued at $30, but you get it for free. The Step-by-Step Church Facebook Guide for $30. Both are ebooks for $30 each, which is about $60. The 78 Tips, Tricks, and Strategies for $10. The Church Growth Cheat Sheet for $20. The Church Fundraising Hacks for $30. The Church Exact Facebook Ads for $40. The Church Facebook Ads course, which is valued at about $600. The bonus training video for $50. And 24/7 access to my phone at any time that you want to call me. This is a total value of about $970. And you can get all of this, including the bonuses, for $297. This small investment will teach you how to get your church seen by hundreds of thousands of people. This small investment will teach you the strategies that doubled a church's attendance, got a church 241 new visitors, and maxed out a church in Oklahoma. I will teach you everything that I know about growing your impact in 2019 through this course and this information. My course is set up with videos that you can watch over and over and over again so that you can basically understand how to do this and get similar results. And you can get all of this, including the free bonuses, for one payment of $297. Everything with a total value of about $970. Now, if all this got you would be if only 20,000 people learned about your church with these Facebook ads, would it be worth it? If this only got your church seen by about 8,000 people within your community, would this be worth it? What would happen if all this did was just let about 5,000 people learn about your church and come in and just learn more about God? Would that be worth it? So because of that, if you want to take this first step to start growing your church, then this is your chance. So if you want to make this first step and learn about the greatest outreach in 2019, then click the button below and get access to your course. The course link will be emailed to you, and you will be able to watch these training videos and download the free content immediately. So at this time, I want to go over several questions or thoughts that many pastors or maybe you might be having right now, and hopefully I can answer your questions or thoughts that you might be thinking. And you might be thinking that this is too technical or it's too complicated. It won't be complicated because you have an instructor that will sit down and walk you through step by step, because anyone can say that the college class of calculus is too complicated. But as long as you have a calculus professor that will sit down with you and explain each part of a problem and coach you to get the right answer, which means that you get similar results, then the course will be worth it. Now, you might be thinking, it might be too techy, but this is still Facebook. I'm guessing that maybe 9 out of 10 of the people that are watching this webinar have a Facebook account, and you know what Facebook is. So this is basically just a different perspective on Facebook that is monumentally effective. Now you might be thinking that this may be too hard, but I taught this concept to my pastor, and he understands it. I taught this to my father, and he understands this. I taught this to my mom, my sisters, my friends. So it's not hard if all these people can learn, so I'm sure that you can learn the exact same things. And you might be thinking that this may take too much time, and it may take forever to get results, but in this course, I create a Facebook ad from scratch for my church, and I check up on it throughout the video within the same day and show you the crazy results of people that have seen my ad throughout my community. Now you might be thinking, well, Stephen, I understand, but I don't know if this will work because my church is different and small. But this may be true, But how does a church become popular? You promote it. If there's a lemonade stand on the side of the road, cars pass by and see the lemonade stand, but no one is stopping and buying. The owner might say, well, I'm not making any sales because I'm different and small. You get sales by promoting your lemonade as awesome and delicious. If you say, you will love this lemonade, you should come and try this. Then, to the business owner's surprise, people are now stopping to buy. It works the exact same way for churches. So in this course, I will show you how to let people know about your lemonade stand. This Facebook ad for churches course has the capability to grow your church, and I want to give you access to it today. Take the offer by clicking the link down below, which will lead to an order form. So if you want to learn about how to grow your church's reach and impact, this is your last chance to get it for yourself. Once again, my name is Stephen Polk, and my mission is to revolutionize churches across the United States to grow their reach and impact by using the latest and greatest strategies in 2019. Thank you for watching this webinar, and I hope that you take this free information from this webinar and start to grow your church exponentially. Get your access to the course, get ready to reach hundreds of thousands of people, and good luck. God bless you.